Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from Money Use Up here at Desawe Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Coming up this evening, we'll give you details of what's happening in Parliament as the Communications Minister Eslo Usue is before Parliament talking about issues related to the broadcasting licenses and why certain companies and television stations would have their signals suspended going into the 2024 year period. We'll give you details of that shortly. Kamla Kluche is my colleague. Is going to be joining us with a bit more, but this is what Eslo Usue has been saying.
None of the broadcasters on the DTT platform pay for using it as I speak. And this situation cannot continue in our current economic state. Giba is not a broadcaster hosted on this platform. So I don't know in which capacity they would be acting. They have constituent members who are broadcasters on the DTT platform, but none of them have paid a peswa to date for being hosted on the platform. So it is not correct to state that any entity being hosted on the platform has paid for being hosted on it. They have not. There is actually matters pending in court because they have been notified that government has indicated that it cannot continue to pay for the operations and maintenance of this DTT platform. And so the users of the platform must pay for the services that they use. Some of them are negotiating with the management of the DTT platform as to payment terms for it. Others are adamant that government should continue to pay.
We'll bring you details of what happened in Parliament shortly here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also, the Commissioner for the Commission on Human Rights, Administrative Justice, Shraj, Joseph Whittal, has made a strong call for Ghana to play a leading role in the protection and promotion of human rights for the vulnerable and the poor. We'll give you details of that shortly here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also, economist Kwame PNM is advocating for a new government-backed financing regime for the exploitation of minerals in the country. Details of these plus the latest in sports, business and entertainment coming up over the next 60 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, also live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond here on Hot Edition. Let's get into the details now and straight into Parliament and what's happened now with respect to Communications Minister Eslo Usue making a strong case about what some television stations Communications Minister is warning that the TV signals to homes and offices will be cut from next year because broadcasters are refusing to pay for the use of the digital terrestrial television, that's DTT platform. As also Ekofo says, the government, which has been footing the cost for operating the platform, can no longer bear the cost, with media houses refusing to pay despite several notices to them. Yes, Eslo also go for a bit more detail into that particular position that she espoused in Parliament earlier today. My colleague Kamla Kluche is going to be joining us shortly.
None of the broadcasters on the DTT platform pay for using it as I speak. And this situation cannot continue in our current economic state. Giba is not a broadcaster hosted on this platform. So I don't know in which capacity they would be acting. They have constituent members who are broadcasters on the DTT platform, but none of them have paid a peswa to date for being hosted on the platform. So it is not correct to state that any entity being hosted on the platform has paid for being hosted on it. They have not. There is actually matters pending in court because they have been notified that government has indicated that it cannot continue to pay for the operations and maintenance of this DTT platform. And so the users of the platform must pay for the services that they use. Some of them are negotiating with the management of the DTT platform as to payment terms for it. Others are adamant that government should continue to pay. But my answer is clear. The government says it cannot continue to pay for it. So if they do not pay for it, unfortunately, we may find ourselves in the situation where we cannot receive TV broadcast signals because the platform will be shut down for non-payment of the operational expenses that it incurs.
Well, so that's Eslo Osokofo there, giving details of what is going to be the next line of action by government if these television stations that run or operate on the digital television platform do not pay the debt. It says that cannot continue, and government would have no choice than to cut the television signals, because government cannot continue to foot the bills of running this digital television platform. But also further to a number of things that she also said in Parliament earlier today, the Ghanaian government, what we understand, has denied claims of selling its 30% stake in Vodafone Ghana, formerly Ghana Telecommunications Company Limited. This follows recent allegations by the Member of Parliament for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, that the government had sold the shares of government of Ghana shares in Vodafone for less than $100 million, despite the company's estimated value of $1 billion. Clarifying the situation, Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Eslo Osokofo, whom you just heard, confirmed that indeed, while Vodafone Ghana transferred its 70% stake to Telecel Group in February 2023, the government of Ghana has no plans to sell its remaining 30% shareholding. So Esther Kufo further emphasized that the government's consent is not required for Vodafone Ghana to sell its shares as stipulated in the shareholder agreement. And in fact, giving details of that under the shareholders agreement, the consent of the minority shareholder, that is in this case the government of Ghana or the people of Ghana, 30%, is not required for Vodafone to transfer or to sell its shareholding in Ghana Telecommunications Company Limited. So that's the development now, and what the issues also that have been happening in Parliament with respect to the appearance of the Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Esther Osokofo, and the number of issues that she has also been talking about. And especially the specific case of the number of television stations that are also running on the digital terrestrial television platform. Shortly, we'll be connected with Kamala Kluche, but the Catholic Bishops' Conference has thrown its weight behind ongoing processes in Parliament to criminalize the activities of LGBTQ plus persons. Now, the latest position of the church comes in sharp contrast to views shared by Cardinal Turkson when he advised against criminalizing the act despite not supporting LGBT persons. Here are the exact words of Cardinal Pierre Turkson when he appeared on the BBC's Hard Talk 2 weeks ago.
Speaking on the BBC Current Affairs program Hard Talk, Ghana's first cardinal, who has at times been regarded as a future candidate to become Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, said it is time to begin education to help people understand what the reality is.
My position is, in that sense, contrary to what is just being passed. My thing is that, to criminalize anybody, you need to be able to identify the crime.
92.7.
Okay, so my position has always been LGBT cases are not to be criminalized.
Cardinal Turkson added that, in his opinion, what had led to the current efforts to pass strict anti-gay measures in several African countries were attempts to link some foreign donations and grants to certain positions.
I think what caused all of these was attempts to link some foreign donations and grants to certain positions which needed to be imposed in the name of freedom, in the name of respect for rights and stuff like that.
Referring to the account expression of men who act like women and women who act like men, Cardinal Texan argued that this was an indication that homosexuality was not an imposition from outside.
Traditionally, the Ghanaian culture has known of people with, some such tendencies. And I say this because there is an expression in the local Akan language, that of mine, of men who act like women and women who act like men. But nobody went on to make any policy out of that.
Ghana's parliament in July backed measures in a proposed bill, the Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill, which seeks to make identifying as LGBT punishable with a 3-year prison sentence. People who campaign for LGBT rights could also face up to 10 years in jail. Gay sex is already against the law and carries a 3-year prison sentence. Currently, the Business Committee of Parliament is yet to program the anti-LGBTQ+ bill for a second reading in the House.
So that's a report by my colleague Eric Moana Egbeta there, and let's get a bit more into the Catholic Bishops' Conference statement and their position specifically on what is happening in Parliament with respect to the anti-LGBTQ+ bill. Now, portions of the statement read, so the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference is hopeful that the anti-gay bill currently before Parliament will impose punitive measures that align with the crimes committed. The anti-gay bill, officially known as the Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill, is a proposed law that has sparked significant controversy within the country and internationally. Now, the bill seeks to criminalize same-sex sexual relationships, including oral sex and anal sex, with penalties ranging from 5 to 10 years in prison. It also criminalizes the advocacy for LGBTQ+ rights, the promotion of same-sex marriage or cohabitation, and the provision of support services to LGBTQ+ individuals. Additionally, the bill proposes the punishment of individuals or organizations that organize or participate in LGBTQ+ events, provide resources to support LGBTQ+ people, or produce or distribute materials that promote LGBTQ+ rights. Now, the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, in a statement signed and issued by its president, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi, earlier today, commended the legislators pushing for the passage of the bill and expressed the conference's hope that the bill will ensure proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values when passed. It is also, quote, the hope of the Catholic Bishops' Conference that the bill will impose punitive measures that are commensurate with the crimes committed on courts. This is part of the statement. You can find the full statement on 3news.com for some more on that. But we're into quickly the raging debate on the lithium find and the agreement between the government of Ghana and the Barari DV Ghana Limited. The transaction has been criticized as one of the short changes the country has experienced, but government insists it is the best mining agreement ever reached in the country. Now, the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, together with the Christian Council, the Office of the National Chief Imam, and a member of the Council of State have all kicked against the immediate ratification of the lithium deal with BV Barari. And they say at the roundtable, at the behest of the IEA, that they want Parliament to thoroughly scrutinize the agreement before its passage. Here's Reverend Cyril Fayosi of the Christian Council of Ghana.
There is nothing to show that we get all these rich resources coming from these areas. Look at their roads. Look at the infrastructure. Look at the people who live there. And it's a shame. Sometimes you drive through these areas and you ask yourself, just as a friend said, look at Obuasi. Look at the town. Go to Pristia. And look at the town. And it's as if nothing is there. But all you find our people is the smile on their faces. Just the smile. There is nothing to show. And we keep on mining. It hasn't stopped. We keep on mining. And they come and we found oil. Everybody felt that oil coming to West Takoradi was going to be a better place for all of us. People started moving there, but you go there, you have nothing to show. And again, God has been good to us. He continues to grant unto us more of minerals. And today we have found lithium. And we are saying that lithium is becoming or will become. We cannot, as a nation, sit down and let this also go down the drain and let people take it away for us to suffer.
That's Reverend Cyril Fayo, CEO, is the Christian Council chair there. A member of the Council of State and also renowned legal practitioner Samuel Kudjato has also been speaking on the ratification or expected ratification of this deal by Parliament.
Why should he come and give us 10%? So the reason why all the countries of the Middle East are filthily rich is because the oil that they have belongs to them. Mobil, Total, all the companies that go there to go and explore for oil, they are contracted. They are paid. They don't own the oil. So if lithium is supposed now the mineral of the future, is that not correct? I think this is the way it's been described. Why? Because the world is going green. Oil, sooner or later, it could be in the soil, but you can't bring it out because it's not allowed. It's polluting the atmosphere, it's killing people, it's bringing undue rainfall, undue droughts, and so on and so forth. I think the COP that's going on right now is exactly on that issue. And we have it in large quantity, and we are allowing someone to come and dig it, to go and sell. He will not bring the 100% of the money to Ghana and even give us the 10%. No. He does it outside, and then he only brings the 10%.
As a member of Council of State, Samuel Kudjato there talking at the IEA roundtable on the lithium finance and engagement with religious groupings. You have the representative of the National Chief Imam there, Christian Council, plus the Council of State member you just heard. My colleague Grace Amoajuman is there for us. Grace, what more, especially of the Chief Imam representative, been saying about this particular deal?
Yes, Alfred. So he has been talking about the need for policy makers, or the need especially for Parliament to immediately refuse whatever agreement or whatever deals that the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry is going to present to it. He thinks that a lot of work hasn't gone into the deal and it is not in the interest of Ghanaians. And so Parliament should outrightly refuse the deal that is going to come to them. We also have the former Chief Justice Sophia Akufu, who has been very vocal about this issue, and she is asking for a national policy on the exploitation of Ghana's minerals. We should use lithium as a litmus test so that in case we find another mineral in our country, we know how to mine it and not do a gamble game on how much royalties we are getting or how much money we are getting or who is exploiting it or what we are transporting or what we are exporting. She makes a case of how Nigeria has immediately drafted a proposal to guide the mining of lithium in their country. Nigeria says that lithium from Nigeria will not be exported in its raw state. And so she says if we say Nigeria is our neighbor, then we should learn from the example that they have set and make sure we have a policy document, whether it's government A or it's government B. Every government is following that. In our negotiations, we must negotiate so that it is in the interest of Ghana and not in the interest of some foreign or some white man who come and take the chunk of the mineral wealth and give us just a paltry percentage of what is coming out of it.
I see. And so is there a specific resolution in the end to want to petition Parliament to look at the ratification of it entirely?
Yes, Alfred. The sense or the idea we get here is that in the next 7 days, they are petitioning government. Whatever they discuss here, the resolutions and the suggestions that came out of here is going to be drafted into a document by the IEA, which will be sent to Parliament as well as the presidency and any other body that they deem fit to petition so that the deal is re-looked at or when it goes into Parliament, it is thrown out for a second look from everybody who has the knowledge to put in before we go ahead to ratify the deal.
Appreciate
So
your
in the
time.
next 7 days, we should be hearing from the religious bodies, IEA, as well as the Council of States, on the next step on the Ghana BZ Barari lithium deal.
In the next 7 days, certainly.
Yes.
We'll look out for that. Appreciate you. Grace, thank you so much. Grace Amwa Ajiman is at the Institute of Economic Affairs IEA roundtable with the civil society groups and also the religious groups as well. The Christian Council, the National Chief Imam's Office represented there, plus a member of the Council of State, Samuel Kudjeto, also backing the calls by these CSOs to have this deal thoroughly interrogated by Parliament even before the thought of ratification. Now, a civil society organization has also joined in mounting the pressure on the opposition to this lithium deal, insisting it is not in the best interest of the country. Atik Mohammed is Executive Director of the Mass Action for Sustainable Development. He's joining us on the telephone. Atik, I thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. First off, now there's a call for a national policy review on the various arrangements for the natural resource exploration in this country. Is it a call that you will back?
Thank you very much, Alfred. Thank you very much, Alfred. And let me say good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners as well. Of course, Mass Action Committee for Sustainable Development today held a press conference. And one of the issues we raised was the fact that this deal is not fit for purpose, is unacceptable, and we should be able to intensify our calls for the rejection of this deal. In fact, we've made the point that Parliament should not ratify the deal so that it would allow for wider consultations and engagements regarding the many concerns we have raised. And I'm sure many other people too have raised similar concerns. For us to begin with, lithium is like the new oil. And as we are fully aware, the demand for lithium has been growing exponentially over the years. And it is estimated that for us to even be able, and when I say us, I mean globally, for us to be able to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement, it would require that demand for lithium would rise by over 40 times the levels of 2022 demand, which should tell you that the future really is lithium and other green minerals. So we cannot treat lithium and other green minerals the way we treated gold. That is why it is important for us to take a pause, let the minister slow down, so we can have a thorough discussion or conversation around this new mining lease. Otherwise, we'll end up doing to ourselves what we did to ourselves with respect to gold. And we don't want that tragedy recurring again. And we, in our press conference, highlighted some very key issues. The first of it is that when you look at the royalty rate regime that is suggested in this new mining lease agreement, it is said that government of Ghana is going to get 10%. And for us, our argument is that this is discretionary. It is arbitrary. It is on the discretion of the minister that we get 10%. What if tomorrow another applicant for a lithium mining lease comes and then the minister is unable to negotiate for 10%? What happens? So our argument is that if we are saying that 10% is what we deserve from the minerals operations of any entity that applies for a mining lease, let it be founded in law. The law says that, we used to have some specific royalty rate for minerals, which was 5%. But that was repealed by a later amendment to the Minerals and Mining Act in 2015. Now, the minister is given the power to prescribe the royalty rate. But we are saying that lithium is not like the other minerals. So instead of allowing it to the discretion of the minister, let us have a law that says that when it comes to lithium, this is the specific royalty rate we are entitled to. So that it doesn't matter which minister is in office, everybody is bound by that law. Everybody is aware of the royalty rate. And this should be a function of wider consultations and engagements. We've also made the point that, look, the amendment allowed the minister to institute regulations that would help him prescribe the royalty rate. So we are saying that for you to have even gone ahead to sign this mining lease, the first thing you should have done was to institute an LI, which would allow you to make regulations regarding the specific royalty rate. so that it is not left to the discretion of any minister as to how much we should get by way of royalty. If you have a regulation that says that Ghana is going to get 10%, 2%, whatever, we know this is founded in law. But in the absence of that, the minister can decide that, well, as for this entity, we'll get 10% from them, the next one will get 8%. That is capricious, and it doesn't help the future course of Ghana.
For all of these conversations while it's ongoing, and this aspect that you have just proposed, there are others who also make the point that while we are having the conversation to demand for more, we should also be looking at how we can build capacity as a country in these areas, so that instead of always having a multinational company come in, spend their own money to do prospecting, to identify the volumes of some natural resource that we have that we don't even know how much we have. And then after they spend their money doing the prospecting, then we come in and then demand that we should do a 50-50 sharing. We should also be thinking about building capacity as a country so that the Geological Survey Authority, for instance, will be well resourced to do its own data gathering, up-to-date seismic data on the resources, natural resources that we have as a country. How about that?
Yes, I agree with you, but I'm telling you that the Geological Survey Department is very well equipped. And look, the interesting thing is that people keep making this point as if it is these foreigners who come to invest in finding deposits of these minerals. They only go to the survey department, the Geological Survey Department, to get the data on where these minerals are found. All they do is to do further studies, or if you wish, further research to find out whether the volumes as found in these areas are of economic value. And in the mining parlance, when they say economic value, it means is it in commercial quantities? That is all they do. It is not as if they come to Ghana, roam around the country and find out that, oh, there is this mineral in this area. No. There is data at the Geological Survey Department. All they do is to find out if these minerals are in commercial quantities. So I agree with you that Ghanaians should be empowered and encouraged to begin to have interest in also undertaking some of these enterprises to find out whether the minerals as found by the Geological Survey Department are in commercial quantities. And there should be a special regime, and that is why we are saying that there shouldn't be a rush to sign any new mining lease on lithium. Let us have an entirely new regulatory and fiscal management regime for lithium and other green minerals. In that new regime, we can have provisions that would help empower local entrepreneurs to begin to look into investing in these areas. I started to think that there is no Ghanaian, or there are no Ghanaians who have the capacity to invest in the way the counterparts do. Ghanaians really have what it takes. They just need that environment which is enabling enough. And if we have a new legal and, if you like, fiscal management regime in place for these green minerals, I am sure a lot more Ghanaians would be enticed, they would be encouraged to invest in these areas. And that is why a pause is very important, so that we can have this conversation. And if need be, we can come up with an act like we did when it came to oil. Like I said, lithium is a future oil. So if we thought to ourselves that if you find oil, you need to take care of it. So we came up with laws such as the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. What stops us from having a similar arrangement for lithium? And we have suggested that, look, we could have an act in the likeness of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, which could be Lithium and Green Minerals Management Act, for example. That would capture the royalty rate, it would capture local content participation, equity management, and the rest of it. So we have a clear framework, fiscal and regulatory, so that at the end of the day, Ghanaians know what they are getting from this new resource. And Ghanaians would also be encouraged and empowered. And I'm sure the financial sector would also be given some incentives to help Ghanaians participate in this process, because this is our future. When we've looked, the electro-mobility industry now relies on lithium, and that is the future. So if we are not readying ourselves for that future, and we think that, expatriates are the ones who have the money, so let's always rely on them, I think we are doing ourselves a great deal of disservice. And all these can be cured if we take our time to do the needed consultations, do the relevant amendments if we have to, or come up with new legislation, so that going forward, Ghanaians who have benefits that are sustainable from this new enterprise of green minerals.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Alfred.
Atik Mohammed is a natural resource governance analyst joining us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also, economist Kwame PNM is advocating for a new government-backed financing regime for the exploitation of mineral resources in the country. And the advocacy argues that if government provides sovereign guarantees for trusted Ghanaian professionals to source for capital, both here and abroad, to develop such ventures, Ghanaians will be the ultimate beneficiaries. This model, he argues, is better than the current model where foreigners exploit Ghana's natural resources to the country's detriment. On the same path, he has been talking about the state of the Ghanaian economy and what has to be done differently. He makes the point that as we're currently under the 18th IMF program since independence, country is waiting with bated breath for the approval of the board of the IMF in order to access the second tranche of the $600 million under this program. Currently, Ghana is negotiating with its external creditors for debt restructuring. Speaking on reimagining Ghana's development trajectory for the next 33 years towards its 100th independence anniversary theme, economist Kwame PNM bemoaned the inconsistency with the growth trajectory of the country, that's economy, and then also predicted hard times in the first quarter of next year.
Ghana is currently under its 18th IMF program since independence. The country is waiting with bated breath for the approval of the board of the IMF in order to access the second tranche of $600 million under the program. Currently, the country is negotiating with its external creditors for debt restructuring. Speaking on reimagining Ghana's development trajectory for the next 33 years towards its 100th independence anniversary, economist Kwame PNM bemoaned the inconsistency with the growth trajectory of the economy and predicted hard times in the first quarter of next year.
Our banks are in trouble. They have to make up additional capital. Ghana Commercial Bank looking for additional capital to make up the minimum capital adequacy ratios. By the first quarter of next year, we'll find out that the banks are laying off people. The banks will have less profit. Taxes will also go down. So the seriousness of the magnitude of the problems we face will come in the first quarter. And this is why it is important that all of us decide we need to change course.
He also singled out the election of district chief executives as one of the policy initiatives that will ensure real development across the country.
An elected district chief executive, repackaged, will make sure we have 265 centers of initiative for development. Not all of us sitting under the Jubilee House tree waiting for manna to fall. Only one center thinking for us.
UPSA awarded him for his contribution towards national development.
As Duke Menso Poko there with the details of Kwame PNM's position and proposals to turn around the fortunes of the economy at some 25 minutes of the hour here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. Also live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. A number of you sharing your thoughts about the issues happening here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. To our earlier story, where the Communications Minister Esle Owusu-Ekufo has been talking about the digital terrestrial television platforms and some television stations not paying the amount that has been allocated to them. Esle Owusu-Ekufo indicates that government, which has been footing the cost for operating the digital terrestrial platform, can no longer bear the cost, with media houses refusing to pay despite several notices to them. Cecil Sonkwa Mills, who is the president of Ghana Independent Broadcast Association of Ghana, that's GIBA, is going to be joining us shortly on this matter and the issues running through here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Now, the Commission on Human Rights and Restorative Justice Shraj has vowed to take on President Akufo-Addo for the passage of the anti-witchcraft bill into law if he further delays in accenting it. Now, the commission says it will send an advisory to the presidency for urgent steps to be taken in accenting the bill into law. Commissioner Shraj Joseph Whittal believes many women continue to suffer harsh victimization and abuse, and passage of the bill is a good way to put an end to the criminal activities.
For women and children, discrimination against women on the basis of custom and tradition is something Ghana's peers have also recommended that Ghana should work on. Ghana should work on in respect of particularly the bill, the anti-witchcraft bill, which they commended Ghana for having put across a bill. At the time we went for the Universal Periodic Review, we haven't yet, Parliament had not yet passed it. But our concern now is what the President has indicated, that he has constitutional concerns about the bill. But he has no problem with the content of the bill. Our problem as a commission is, can the President speed up whatever he will do to bring that bill back to Parliament? Whether it's through the Attorney General, howsoever it will be done, the women cannot afford any further delay. So that is very, very important. And it's not just the Commission. This is also something Ghana has any further delay. So that is very, very important. And it's not just the Commission. This is also something Ghana has gone to tout itself at the Human Rights Council. So we must walk our talk. Even though I'm not faulting the President, if there are constitutional issues, it will be wrong to pass a bill and only have it set aside. So the right thing must be done. But speed is of the essence. That's what it is.
Speed is of the essence there. That's Joseph Whittal, who is the Commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Raj, here on Hot Edition on 3FM and 92.7. This is a story that we are keeping an eye on quite closely, and we will be updating you on how things play out. But let's move into issues of security now, because the Ministry of National Security has advised organizers and patrons of upcoming events in December to put in measures that would enhance security during the festive season. According to the ministry, this was necessary in the face of emerging security threats in the nation's neighboring countries. The advice was given when the Ghana Tourism Authority held a stakeholders engagement with national security and event organizers. The administrator counterterrorism at the Ministry of National Security, Marvin Obenyenchi, said the event centers have been the target of terrorists. Event centers are soft spots to be attacked, especially during occasions, because the crowd is huge, and that is what terrorists look out for. Now, the month of December is the busiest time of the year in Ghana, with an increased number of visitors and a tremendous number of events that take place across the country. According to him, potential indicators of terrorist activities include suspicious collection of hotel maps, photos or notes or diagrams with infrastructure highlighted, unusual inquiries about practices pertaining to the facility or the facilities supporting infrastructure by guests. So that is something that is also been on the lookout for now. And some news coming through from the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, because from what we're hearing, ECG has embarked on an exercise to replace over 10,000 postpaid meters with prepaid meters at Atimpoko, Asuchari, Akose, and Akrade, all in the Krobo district of the ECG under the Tema region. The ECG has also called on customers in the district to cooperate with management in their own interest. Most customers in Yilo Krobo and Lower Manya Krobo areas under the Krobo district of ECG have been placed on prepaid meters, and the management of the company is also calling all the customers in the district to be part of the prepaid metering system for their own good. If you recall, there was some clash between the ECG workers and some of the residents in these areas 3 years ago, when there was an attempt to have prepaid meters installed in their homes. So that is the issue coming up now, and also how things are developing. Something we keep an eye on here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Let's go to the Ashanti region now, where earlier today there was a fire outbreak that destroyed thousands of property and then also Some persons were also recorded to have sustained various degrees of injury as a result of this rather unfortunate inferno. Shortly, my colleague William Ibrahim Abubakar is joining us now with a quick update on this fire outbreak. Ibrahim, what's the latest to this fire situation as reported earlier?
Well, Alfred, for now I can tell you that the traders are bent on erecting their structures, even though the city authorities have come there to tell them to stop because they need the fire service personnel to conclude with their investigations before they even know whether to allow them to rebuild or not. In fact, this portion that was affected is supposed to be cleared for the third phase of the KJT redevelopment market. In fact, this morning, whilst erecting their structures, the contractors came there to tell them to stop because sooner or later, the entire area will be cordoned off for the third phase. But then these traders were angry because they were in pain. They were saying even the second phase has not been completed since January till date. Work has not resumed on that project. How then do you come to tell them that they should leave when they've lost huge investment and they want to return back or return to business to be able to recoup some of their investments? So they say they will resist for now any attempts to move them there until maybe two authorities decide to get them a new place to go and conduct their trading activities. So for those who have the financial muscle, they have started rebuilding. Others are also still counting on city authorities to offer them some level of support so that they will also be able to bounce back to business.
Great point. And Ibrahim, I thank you so much for this update. Appreciate it. Ibrahim Abubakar is our Ashanti regional correspondent. This is Hot Edition. We'll be back shortly after this quick break with the business news with Michael Obodu and the business team.
You want to travel, but you can live without another cold sniffling end of year holiday? Well, now you can enjoy visa-free visits to South Africa, where it is summer and delightful for the rest of the year. Oh, you thought summer was over? Well, not in SA. And Charlie, it is sweet. Golden beaches, clear waters, delish foods, and fun times with family or friends.
Explore an extended summer holiday in South Africa. Find your summer deals at southafrica.net. Come journey with us.
Meya Pasi was in social. Now Aka University Papa Menyamao and one Heritage Christian University College. Yeah, what am I Stadium Nechi. Very serene environment for studies. Again, my heritage Eson. 860 a Christ-centered university. 24/7 Wi-Fi internet for students. Hostel facilities. 860 what is your for MOB entrepreneurs and also ready for job markets. Well, breast students need their business ideas. Sika Emma will be one Castle Numa and to a baby school. Now a business owners and a laptop. Really? Programs BBA accounting with computing, marketing, human resource management, information technology management, BSc information technology, and information security. Osaya BSc nursing and a Bachelor of Theology. Wow! Mature students 25 years and above. And to me apply AFEWASI, SSC, GBC, HND Lunina. 860 is also running 12-month specialized master's degree program. MSc Accounting and Taxation, Accounting and Finance, MSc Human Resource Management. Accredited by Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, affiliated to KNUST and the UCC. For 020-229-8399.
Dirty Rave in Ghana. Get ready for the ultimate Afro enjoyment rave, Dirty Rave. Accra, we outside. Brace yourselves because this year Dirty Rave is shooting for the moon. Save the dates, December 27th. Get ready for an intergalactic rave experience. Performing live DJ mixes are Chop Live Sound System with DJ Edu and Don Easy, DJ Aruma, DJ Obi, AD DJ, Kelvin DJ, and Kojo Manuel. It's a star-studded party you don't want to miss. December 27th, Untamed Empire. Secure your spot at this cosmic celebration. Visit www.dirtyrave.com or use *725*5555#. So mark your calendar, get your tickets, and prepare for liftoff. This out-of-the-world experience is sponsored by Bet Power, EcoBank, Club Beer, Voltic, Yango, DDP, Turf, Holiday Inn, Waka Now, Untamed Empire, Beyond the Return, McDan, Atlas, Eliza Travels, Black A Restrooms, and Kozo.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition. My name is Michael Obodu. In our bulletin tonight, energy strategist calls for urgent intervention, warning Ghana's electricity grid faces critical risk as peak demand nears capacity. We'll bring you the details shortly. Stay with us. Well, thank you for staying. We'll start off with the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISE, as it has proposed the adoption of e-cooking as an effective measure to reduce energy costs in households across the country. The Institute's study findings reveal that using electric pressure cookers, among other modern options, could cut cooking expenses by over 50% compared to traditional methods. The team lead for the Modern Energy Cooking Services Phase 2 project, Dr. Simon Bawachilo, also emphasized the favorable environmental implications associated with these alternative cooking methods.
Charlie have the belief that cooking with electricity is expensive. However, that is not the case. But the only reason why they think cooking with electricity is expensive is because they don't have the empirical evidence. So this work actually sought to help us get the empirical evidence through experiment. And so in the experiment, what we did was to actually cook different type of staple meals. Now we use different technologies to prove that cooking with electricity is not expensive. So we use the electric pressure cooker. We also use the improved clean cook stove, which has to do with the charcoal, then LPG. In doing that, what we saw was that when it comes to, in fact, economic aspect, the amount that you spend on cooking with any one of these meals, the electric pressure cooker actually outshone all. When it came to the issue to do with emissions, which has to do with carbon monoxide and particulate matter that actually affect health, you realize the electric pressure cooker doesn't actually emit anything.
So that was Dr. Simon Bawachileno, and he is the team lead for the Modern Energy Cooking Services Phase 2 project at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISE, speaking there. Now, energy strategist and CEO of Eureka Energy Solutions, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana, is calling for urgent adapt to Ghana's electricity installed capacity. According to him, the country's current peak electricity demand is nearing the available and dependable capacity, which should be a cause for worry.
In instances where we had three problems, let me put it that way, it almost threatened to put the nation into a kind of erratic power supply situation, or what we normally call a doomso. And so it shows that we are vulnerable, and then the high time we take pragmatic steps to beef up and create a buffer, a kind of a backup for our power situation, the better. Clearly, if you notice those three instances that I can clearly recollect, where we had some issues with gas supply from Atwabo, probably technical issues, we were threatened with doomso.
That was energy strategist Dr. Yusuf Sulemana speaking there. Now, the Australian ambassador for cybersecurity and critical technology, Brendan Darling, is advocating for specific policies to draw more attention, more women into the cybersecurity sector within the country. With global data indicating a stark gender gap in cybersecurity roles, Darling highlighted the need for intentional strategies during an interaction with 3Business at a workshop held for Ghana Communication Technology University students. He emphasized that a deliberate approach should enhance local cybersecurity participation while addressing youth unemployment concerns.
At the moment, globally, only 10% of cybersecurity jobs are filled by women. What we need is companies taking a more active approach, recruiting and encouraging women. We need scholarships. We need government programs that actually encourage women to take up these professions. We need girls to be learning technology when they're at school. The idea that girls should learn home economics and boys should learn woodwork is an old idea. We need to do this from the earliest ages, but it's not going to happen naturally. It does take that support, it does take scholarships, and it does take companies really actively recruiting high numbers of women to come into the profession.
So, well, that was the Australian ambassador for cybersecurity speaking. They're bringing an end to the business segment here on Hot Edition. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. My name is Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is sports.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition with me, Oreku Ampofo. Well, today is a big day in African football because it's time to crown a new king and queen and a host of other awards when it comes to African football in the past year. Marrakesh, a very beautiful city in Morocco, is the location tonight as the 2023 edition of the CAF Award would be taking place. Now, there's been a lot of talk about who should be awarded the Men's Player of the Year, which is usually the headline act of the event. Victor Osimhen, who led Napoli to their first Serie A title in more than 3 decades, will be going up against Liverpool's Mohamed Salah and Achraf Hakimi, who helped make history with Morocco in the 2022 World Cup. Nigerian journalist Omar Katuba, who is currently in Marrakesh getting ready for the event, spoke to 3 Sports and believed that Osimhen just about edges it.
I think it's very close to it. Of course, there's a school of thought that Hakimi is the most deserving because of his World Cup achievement. Yeah. I put it quote and unquote because, he didn't win any trophy, but being the first African country to reach the semi-final is something commendable. But the thing is, as a team, fantastic. But as an individual, Hakimi wasn't the pivot for Morocco. While for Victor, individually, he was the best player in his team. Won the won the Scudetto. Won the Capo Cannonieri Award in Italy. Became number 8 in the world. Won recently an award as the best player in this area. So all pointers, all fingers points to Victor Osimhen. I feel as around here, from even journalists, is that Victor Osimhen is likely. So we never.
And so Omar says that I think it's likely that Victor Osimhen would be crowned as CAF Men's Player of the Year. Well, we're just a couple of hours away. The red carpet has already started at the event in Marrakesh. But let's come back to Ghana and talk a bit about Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Heart of Oak because that's the Super Clash which did take place over the weekend. And Mukwala, who stole the show with the brace that helped Asante Kotoko beat their rivals by 3-2, has been speaking, and he says that he's looking forward to doing more for the Porcupine Warriors.
It's really amazing. I'm speechless. Like you see, scoring in a derby is a great feeling. A derby is a derby. It doesn't matter how you score, but a win is a win as well. You don't have to score much goals, but just get the 3 points and make the fans happy. I really thank our fans who came in large numbers, and I really appreciate their effort. And we believe that through their efforts, we are going to push hard.
Well, that was Mukwala of Asante Kotoko. But we still stay in the Ashanti region and hear from some Kumasi fans who are pleased with the result.
For me, they played very well, especially in the second half. They got chances. We could have buried them by 6 goals. 1-1, 2 against 1, they missed it. The shooting was not very good. But as a team there today, they did very well.
Masa, footballing nowadays is more of flexibility, you understand? As a house, you say, I'm born a born, you man, you go somewhere than the chamber. We don't marvel to do for us. In fact, all the coaches have done, we are very happy with them. They should do that for us. Please sponsor us. When we are playing with that food and score them with this margin, it is supposed to be happy with you. The goalkeeper that it's like as a bad days. How do you do striker? The goalkeeper there, I'm not disappointed every time. Last season.
Those were some Kotoko and Heart of Oak fans after the game ended 3-2 in favor of the Porcupine Warriors. That's how we wrap up the sports segment here on Hot Edition. Up next is entertainment with Akofa.
Well, thanks for keeping your dial locked on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. It's now time for the entertainment news segment powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. In a dazzling display of vocal prowess, the Legends Night of Mentor Season 12 saw the contestants perform songs from their favorite legends. The highlight of the evening belonged to Bino Ayoni, who emerged star performer once again after a standing ovation from all 3 judges.
Dubbed Legends Night, the quarterfinals episode of Mentor 12 was a mesmerizing showcase of talent. The contestants captivated the audience and judges with tunes ranging from high life to reggae and so much more.
So royal, 'cause I need her in my life. I never knew anyone so wonderful. Give me one drop, see when me looking at your eye. She looked pretty with a beautiful smile.
After a thrilling night of vocal performances, High Five, Elboot, and Bino were the top 3 contenders for the Star Performer Award. Bino's unique and emotional rendition of Lucky Dube's Remember Me, which earned him a standing ovation from the judges, secured another Star Performer Award for his dual mastery on the night.
You left from the city many years ago. Promise to come back and take care of us. Many years have gone by now.
Everyone knows that tonight someone did something which was very emotional and special. Hey, I haven't mentioned name. Cool down. But yes, you're right. Bino, congrats on star performance.
Congratulations, Bino.
In a dramatic turn of events.
All right, and before I go, earlier today, it was reported that Ghanaian rapper Edem appeared before the Kanishi District Court on charges related to an accident leading to the death of an unidentified woman. In a press statement, VRMG, the management of the musician, indicated that Edem escapes death when an unidentified naked woman crosses path on the George Walker Bush Highway on the 10th of December 2023. Edem's car turned upside down after the impact, but the artist is very fine and is currently complying with the police service as the case is still under investigation. The We Don't Care hitmaker was charged with 2 counts, careless and inconsiderate driving and negligently causing harm. He was granted bail in the amount of 50,000 cedis with 2 sureties. And that's how we bring an end to the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Thank you for your time and keep your dial locked on 3FM 92.7. The 3FM Drive team continues.